This is how we build our democracy. We build a democracy where when we allow everyone to have their say. Let the president have his say. Let Gachagua have his say. Let Kalonzo have his say. Let, Gladys Wanga have her say. Let Oburu have his say. Don't be frustrated by what they say. It is their opinion. And this is a democracy. We have to protect this democracy. Juzi tumekuwa tunaongea kuhusu pillars that hold our democracy, and we talked about free and fair election as the first and foremost pillar. Today, in this talk, I'm going to tell us the second pillar that is very important for us to sustain our democracy, and that is what we call the rule of law. It is very archaic for you to think that because you have an opinion, the rest of the opinions are not opinions. So, for us as a multi-party democracy, let every party have its say. Let people come and say what they want to say. We want a democracy that is vibrant, where Mabonga will say what he wants to say, where President Ruto will have to say what he wants to say without nobody stopping him, where Sifuna will have to say what he wants to say and nobody will stop him, where Gachagua can say what he wants to say, where Matiangi can say what he wants to say, where Kuru Okot can say what he wants to say, where, anyone participating in this democracy called Kenya can say what after without being stopped, without being intimidated, without being judged. Who told you that your opinion is always the right opinion? Who has told you? Who has told you that what you know is the best? We also have brilliant Kenyans who know what they want to know. Who has told you that Matiangi is the only one who can say anything that makes sense? Who has told you that President Ruto is the only one who can say things that can make sense? Who has told you that Gachagua is the only one who can make things that can make sense? Who has told you that Oburu or Sifuna or all those things? These individuals have their say, but you also have your say. Have your say. Say it. And we will want to ask everyone. So whether you're in power or you are not in power, all of us, we have this one freedom that we can express what we have to say, and that is what will build our democracy. That is how we will build what we call the rule of law. And we are saying, and we will continue to say, that we want a country where we observe the rule of law. This is the second and most important pillar, and one of the most important pillar of our democracy. So if you are there and you are Kenyan, and you always feel frustrated when people say opinions that are not, that you don't agree with, you need to check yourself. As I conclude, you are there and maybe you always get frustrated by what Ruto says because you don't agree with him. Reflect. Maybe you get frustrated by what Gachagua says and you don't agree with. You need to reflect on where the problem is. The problem is not those people. The problem is you. You get frustrated by what Matiangi says. You get frustrated by what Uhuru Kenyatta says, our former president. You get frustrated by what this and so on says. The only place where you don't get frustrated is by what you are saying. That is a very egoistic kind of attitude, which is wrong. And I'll say that we can build a democracy when we listen to each other. I listen to what I don't agree with. I listen to what I agree with. But finally have the power of the vote. Finally we'll go to the ballot. We'll go and cast our vote. That's the democracy that we want. That is the country that we want. And that is the present and the future Kenya that we want. Good morning. If you have not subscribed, kindly subscribe down there. That's a way of supporting what we do. If you have not subscribed, kindly subscribe down there. That's a way of supporting what we do.